This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Congress is officially back in session after a 7-week recess and with a big to-do list. And on top of that list, Zika funding.
Lawmakers discussed funding Zika in June before their recess, but they could not come to a decision. ABC7's Kate Flexter is live at Sarasota's mosquito management. And Kate, how necessary do they feel is this funding?
Well, good evening, Haley and Scott. The number Congress is tossing around is $1.1 billion. And the director here at Mosquito Management says it's all money they could use.
The clock is ticking for Congress as the number of cases of Zika in Florida grows. For Director of Sarasota's Mosquito Management, Matt Smith, a lack of action from Congress is hard to watch.
Extremely frustrating. You really get the feeling that they're kind of holding public health hostage for political reasons.
Congress discussed funding Zika months ago, but Democrats blocked the bill, saying Republicans were using it to push other policy points, including restricting funding for Planned Parenthood. Now the Centers for Disease Control say they'll be out of money to combat the virus by the end of the month. And Smith says mosquito management locally and around the state could really use the money.
We have things that we could use that money for. And also, I know there's other organizations around the state that could really even use it more than us.
New College political science professor Keith Fitzgerald says the inaction reflects the divide in Congress.
It cannot respond to a fairly confined, identifiable threat, such as Zika, in an effective way. It just can't do it.
Historically, he says party lines are crossed during public health emergencies. But in this case,
it really is a game. And it's a game with big consequences.
Even though the virus is not mosquito transmitted locally, it is in 2 Florida counties. Plus, 80% of those who have the virus don't have any symptoms at all. Reason Smith says for concern.
And so it's not like you can say, oh, well, it's in Miami and it's only spreading there and they're more prone to it, which they are. But it could happen here. We've already seen Pinellas County.
He says it's nothing to be alarmed about, though, encouraging people to take steps like checking their yards for standing water, but says he hopes to see a decision from Congress soon.
It's sad that they can't just purely leave this as one pure issue of we need to get this funding approved so that we can fight Zika and then other diseases going forwards and just move along and get the money where it needs to go.
After day one back in session, local Congressman Vern Buchanan told us he's optimistic that funding will pass, but says it needs to happen immediately. Live in Sarasota, Kate Flexter, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Kate, thank you. The UN Health Agency is changing its advice to travelers returning from areas facing a Zika virus outbreak. The agency now says both men and women should now practice safe sex or abstinence for 6 months. The World Health Organization's guidance applies to all travelers, whether or not they show symptoms of the virus. The organization's previous guidance that was released in early June was for only men without symptoms to use condoms or abstain from sex for 8 weeks after returning from areas with epidemics.
More than 18,000 people in Florida are still without power more than 4 days after Hurricane Hermine made landfall. Crews have been able to restore electricity to 90% of residents who lost power statewide. But 16,000 people in Tallahassee are still in the dark. Governor Rick Scott and Tallahassee city leaders are at odds over how to best handle response to the storm. Scott says more utility and tree removal crews need to help restore power, while local officials say too much help could actually slow recovery. The city's mayor is asking residents to stay patient.
We want them to know that help is still on the way, to not lose faith in that process, that there are folks who are working around the clock to make sure that we can cure that issue.
Most state government buildings in Tallahassee reopened today, but some are still closed because of power outages.
Manatee County School Board members will vote on the district's upcoming budget tonight. It's a nearly $700 million budget that meets the state required fund balance. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is here with more. Dwayne?
Well, Scott, it's an increase of almost $100,000 from last year's budget, an increase partly based on rising enrollment and new hires. Former Manatee High School teacher Linda Boone is looking for the board to think of students and staff when approving its budget for the 2016-2017 year.
Hopefully there'll be money for, classrooms and supplies and things like that that have been, lacking the last few years.
With the approval, school board officials are looking for possible changes in healthcare plans. And with the rapid growth in student enrollment, they are also planning on new schools being built, specifically in the parish area. Boone is only hoping that teachers are part of the conversation when it's all said and done.
You know, teachers are concerned about the increases in the insurance because that has been discussed. I don't think it's been finalized yet. And also the fact that the salaries still are not where they were when we started getting cuts probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Boone believes the district has been acting in good faith, trying to use money previously approved the best way they can to help accommodate teachers' needs, but says it may be a problem.
Right now we still don't have like a surplus of money, and it does make it difficult when you have to divide up what you do have among all the needs that you have in the district.
Now, tonight's meeting, which starts at 5:45, was specifically called to approve this year's budget. Back to you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Today, the Sarasota County School Board is reviewing a list of candidates hoping to be the next school superintendent. Last week, an advisory committee voted to recommend 8 candidates for further consideration. The only internal candidate is Todd Bowden, the Executive Director of Career, Technical, and Adult Education for Sarasota County Schools. The incoming superintendent will replace Lori White, who's retiring in February.
The Robert L. Taylor Community Complex in Sarasota showing off the completion of its one-of-a-kind sports project. City inviting ABC7 to tour its new multi-sport artificial turf field. It was recently completed and has new lighting, fencing, a concession stand, and extra parking. The complex plans to host soccer, lacrosse, and football games on that new field. The grand opening celebration will take place September 13th. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks
I'd like to
really
just go out there
nice.
and run around.
Yeah, no
fun.
kidding. Especially when it's a little bit cooler than it is today,
definitely.
but it looks really nice. Bob, let's get a check on our forecast.
At least there's not a lot of lightning going on right now for the folks out there on some of the parks and enjoying the weather today. A little bit on the warm side. You can see from the radar pictures some activity, very light in nature, moving through parts of South Sarasota, and even a few brief sprinkles up into Manatee County near Anna Maria. You can see that light rainfall moving to the southwest. Some heavier showers into Highlands County, but all in all, pretty quiet considering the time of year we're in. We're still supposed to get those afternoon and evening storms around. That really doesn't come to an end until usually a couple of weeks in October. We start to see more fronts move down, but you can see a few spotty showers now and again, some near I-75 Woodfield Avenue. There's one there, lone shower, and located near the south end of Anna Maria. Well, storms by the month. We're through August and now into September. This is typically the biggest month for storms. The next one up is Ian, and then we start to slow down a little bit as we move into October. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. A presidential first today as President Obama becomes the first sitting president to visit Laos. The president is on a mission to improve relations with the country. At a summit of Southeast Asian leaders, President Obama is pledging $90 million over the next 3 years to help clean up the unexploded bombs the U.S. dropped on Laos during the Vietnam War.
Whatever the cause, whatever our intentions, war inflicts a terrible toll, especially on innocent men, women, children. Today I stand with you in acknowledging the suffering and sacrifices on all sides of that conflict. Now, given our history here, I believe that the United States has a moral obligation to help Laos heal.
Meanwhile, the meeting between President Obama and Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has been canceled after Duterte's insult-laced remark Monday aimed at President Obama. Today, the Philippine president expressed regret over his comment.
Bill Cosby's felony sexual assault case will likely go to trial sometime next year. The 79-year-old comedian back in a Philadelphia courtroom today. The judge says he wants Cosby's case to go to trial no later than June 5th. Cosby is accused of drugging and molesting Andrea Constand in 2004 at his Philadelphia area home. Cosby's lawyers are trying to keep some key evidence out of the case, but prosecutors hope to have 13 Cosby accusers testify at the trial. Brock Turner is now listed as a sex offender for life. The former Stanford University swimmer registered today in his home state of Ohio. Turner served just 3 months of a 6-month jail sentence for sexually assaulting a woman on campus. ABC's Dania Backus has the latest.
Brock Turner met by cameras as he arrived at the Greene County Sheriff's Office in Ohio Tuesday morning. His mother doing her best to shield him as he enters. For the rest of his life, every 90 days, he must go to an office like this one and register as a Tier 3 sex offender. The former Stanford University swimmer was released from a California jail on Friday after serving half of his 6-month sentence for felony sexual assault. A sentence many critics felt was too lenient for his crime. Turner faced up to 14 years behind bars for his assault on an unconscious woman. The judge behind Turner's sentencing decision, Aaron Persky, no longer hearing criminal cases and facing a recall campaign.
I think he should have been in there a lot longer than 3 months and a lot longer than 6 months if he wouldn't have gotten out early. I think he should have been there for the rest of his life.
In his Ohio neighborhood, protesters showing signs of anger as those who live there now feel they've lost their sense of comfort.
When I bought my house, the number one thing I looked at before I did was the sex offender registry list, and there were none in here.
Because of this case, lawmakers in California have passed legislation that will require a mandatory prison sentence, not probation, for anyone accused of sexually assaulting an unconscious person. Danya Backus, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, ITT technical institutes are closing all across the country. Why the company is shutting down the campuses and how many people will be affected.
Plus, a new security measure at Disney theme parks, what young kids will now have to do before they get in.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory. It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Ford Florida Home.
By Florida workers, because we know Florida weather.
Bring your measurements this Saturday from 9 to 4 to get huge discounts. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKZ for only $299 per month, or a 2016 Lincoln MKX, Lincoln's premium sports utility vehicle, for $339 per month. We also have a great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. Drive with the confidence of a 6-year, 100,000-mile comprehensive warranty and complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, family owned and operated, and winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, dining segments, local events, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 specialty programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on your streaming device and download your free ABC7 app now.
Sexually transmitted diseases are on the rise in the U.S., but effective treatment is on the decline. ABC7's Alex Redmond joins us now with why that is and how it's affecting the Suncoast. Alex.
Thanks, Haley.
Gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis are among the most common STDs, becoming more resistant to antibiotics. And let's not forget HIV, where numbers of infected teens are rising rapidly and treatment options are losing efficacy.
Kids are having sex at younger ages than they should be having. I think that they're not ready for it.
20-year-old Jessica Vincente says STDs are on the rise with teens because sex education isn't taught early enough.
As soon as girls start getting their period, 11, 12 years old, that's when they should be learning about STDs, not when they're going to high school after the fact of them already having sex.
The three most common forms of STDs, including gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis, are becoming resistant to treatment, and the problem isn't limited to teens.
One of my concerns are when clients come in to get tested for these diseases, we're giving them a prescription to get it filled.
Taking the full dose of medication, including antibiotics, says Community AIDS Network's John Acevedo, is crucial.
When they're taking prescriptions at home, they're not taking them completely, thus leaving them creating a resistance bug like we're seeing now, especially with gonorrhea.
Because these STDs are becoming resistant to the antibiotics, it's almost as though we've turned the clock back in time. John Acevedo explains that education is paramount.
One sexual act, you can contract an STD. It doesn't matter, One never knows when a person is infected with any virus,
which includes HIV.
The youth from 13 to 24, those are the highest rising HIV cases in Florida, in Sarasota County, as well as the senior population, that's 55 and up.
Treatment choices are less abundant as time passes. Antibiotic resistance occurs when they're too commonly used and viruses are outsmarting the treatment. Vincente's solution? Kids should be informed.
They tell you not to have sex, but I mean, if you're going to have sex, at least use a condom, use protection, use all the things that they give you.
Because this is how many times it takes to contract an STD.
The first time it can happen.
According to the CDC, 30% of new gonorrhea infections each year are resistant to at least one drug, and HIV, the virus that causes acquired immune deficiency syndrome, even full-blown AIDS, is becoming resistant to existing treatments. So patients are running out of options. Back to you, Haley.
Thank you, Alex. Now let's head over to Bob and get a check on our forecast.
Well, I'll tell you, a beautiful day today on the area beaches, considering what we've gone through over the past week and a half. Now, I'll tell you, it looks like a strong easterly wind keeping the showers moving off into the Gulf. There's only a few around, too. You can expect a brief sprinkle here and there this evening, but generally fair skies anticipated as a result of some dry air that has slipped into the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. Right now, the radar review showing the heaviest rain by far down to the south into the Keys and also near Miami. A few isolated showers near Charlotte County. One right there near Port Charlotte is going to move off to the southwest, and you can see a few showers near Inglewood, and the moisture supply is a little bit more intense down to the south of Charlotte County, so that's the reason why they're seeing more down there into the Everglades and also near Fort Myers. A few showers are possible, those I mentioned. Not much lightning with these because they're moving pretty fast. They're not developing all that much, and they are pushing to the southwest. I mentioned a few sprinkles in the Manatee County, too. One near US 301 near Onico, and also some in the northwest Bradenton, but as I said, very small rain showers there. Big storms yesterday produced a lot of rain in a short period of time. Nearly 6 inches recorded in Northport. One of the viewers sent in their rainfall total right there near Toledo Blade Boulevard, where they had some flooding, and also near Price Boulevard. Some showers and storms that are around now there are not going to cause much of a problem with flooding. Overall picture, high pressure dominating the weather over the southeast, and that's really allowed this dry air to sink across most of the peninsula right now. The heaviest showers down south in the Florida Straits, I mentioned, near the Keys and over South Florida. 89, the dew point 71, which is fairly mild. Winds out of the east-southeast at 13. No sea breeze around. The pressure pretty high, too, at 30.09 inches. Now, the high today was above average, 92 degrees. Our normal high at 89, and 76 was the morning low. That, too, running high. The record 96 degrees. And no rainfall to report today for the year now. We're above average at the airport because of that record amount of rainfall that we saw last Wednesday. Temperatures currently up and down the coast into the upper 80s to low 90s here. 87 in actually in Orlando, the same in Avon Park and in Sebring. 89 degrees in Northport, and the same in Bradenton and Sarasota. The water temperatures now down to 83 degrees. A satellite and radar review showing pretty quiet conditions over the southeast. We're watching this. This was a little bit more concerning to the National Hurricane Center just about 24 hours ago, but now they're dropping their chances for this to develop due to some strong shear. It's moving to the northwest, though, and so we're going to see that moisture move into our area beginning Friday. Give us a little bit better chance for some showers and storms in the afternoon and evening. Well, into the Atlantic we go. The next tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. The Hurricane Center gives it a 70% chance of developing. But if it were to develop, it looks like now the early models are indicating that it would take off into the open waters of the Atlantic. But it bears watching. Look at all that dry air that has moved on in across much of the peninsula. That's going to stick around for one more day. It'll start to moisten up a little bit tomorrow, so we'll keep a slight chance for a few showers in. But all in all, fairly nice. East winds start the day off for boaters, turning to the north at around 15 knots to start the day. There'll be a moderate chop in the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now, there it is, 83 degrees. UV index will be high at a 10. Low tide upcoming 10:36. Tonight's forecast, isolated shower, then mild, then fair. Low temperature of 72 degrees. And tomorrow, only a few isolated afternoon storms, maybe a little bit more action than we saw today. And then the extended forecast does call for increasing chances for rainfall. When you know it, right into the weekend. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. No accidents right now, but traffic is backed up along Bee Ridge Road in Sarasota.
ITT Technical Institutes is closing all of its 130 campuses across the country, including many here in Florida. The for-profit college chain is shutting down just days after the Department of Education banned it from enrolling new students who require federal financial aid. The company says it relies on the millions of dollars in loans and grants. The closures will impact hundreds of thousands of students and alumni, as well as more than 8,000 employees. ITT has about a dozen campuses in Florida, including 2 in Tampa and St. Petersburg. The campus in Bradenton has already been closed.
Young children will now have to go through some extra security at Walt Disney World theme parks. Kids between the ages of 3 and 9 must now have their fingers scanned when they enter the parks. Disney is adding this requirement to try and block the use of stolen and shared tickets. Older children and adults have already had to have their fingers scanned for years.
Yeah, I think some parents are going to be a little upset
with
by
3-year-olds having to get there. I know, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
All right.
Entertainment news is next.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
Temperatures are rising, and the deals are hotter than ever during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get the all-new Chrysler Pacifica for just $26,999 and get an additional $1,000 off with a trade-in. Hurry! Time is running out to get the new Dodge Journey for just $15,999. And right now, get up to $10,000 off a new Ram Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Come uncork your inner artist at Painting with a Twist. Bring your favorite bottle of wine and appetizers and enjoy an evening out with friends to celebrate any special occasion. It's perfect for a girls' night out, birthday parties, or a fun date night. Painting with a Twist offers 2 or 3 hour classes that are instructed by local artists, and there is no experience required. We now have 2 convenient locations in Sarasota and Bradenton. Visit our website to view our calendar and schedule your next party today.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Comedian Chevy Chase is now in rehab seeking treatment for an alcohol problem.
His publicist is calling it a tune-up in his recovery. Chase has had struggles with substance abuse throughout his career. He checked into the Betty Ford Clinic in the 1980s for treatment for an addiction to prescription painkillers. The 72-year-old former star of Saturday Night Live and the Vacation movies was recently a regular on the TV show Community from 2009 to 2014.
21st Century Fox reaching a $20 million settlement deal with Gretchen Carlson. The former Fox News anchor sued Fox News CEO and chairman Roger Ailes in July for sexual harassment and retaliation. 21st Century Fox released a statement apologizing that Carlson was not treated with respect that she and all colleagues deserve. Ailes, who resigned from Fox in July, will pay an unknown portion of that settlement. Greta Van Susteren is out as a nighttime host on Fox News Channel. Fox did not publicly explain her abrupt exit after 14 years, although a person close to the situation says there is a financial disagreement. Senior political commentator Britt Hume is taking over her show through the election.
Glee and Wicked star Kristen Chenoweth is headed back to Broadway for a concert stand this fall. The Tony and Emmy winner will star in My Love Letter to Broadway this November. Chenoweth has starred in several TV shows, including The West Wing, The Good Wife, and Pushing Daisies. She last performed on Broadway in the 2015 revival of On the 20th Century. And speaking of Broadway, a fourth performance of Chicago the Musical has been added to the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall schedule. 3 performances were already scheduled for March 25th and 26th. The additional show will be on the 24th. Chicago is now the #1 longest running American musical in Broadway history, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Tickets will go on sale this Saturday at 10 a.m. I did see the traveling tour then. It's really good. The music is great. It's fun to sing along. Kind of makes you want to dance.
And I bet they sell out all 4.
I'm sure they will.
We'll be right back with more news and weather. Stay with us.